Thank you.
Amen.
Okay, the next item of business is, I've been to do this for a few months. Approval of the minutes that's been published in the paper. Can we waive the reading of all those minutes for the next 3 months, 4 months? Good. Okay, any additions or corrections? Hearing none, can we say that the minutes are accepted as printed? Okay, fine, thank you. This one I'd like to call upon the deputy from the Broward Sheriff's Office.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning. Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning. I don't know if you guys remember when I was here 2 months ago.
I can't hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if everybody remembers when I was here 2 months ago. There were some people here. Kind of got told to come to the meeting at the very last minute, and I think I did okay. There were some questions that I wasn't able to answer, but at the last meeting I said, oh, I'm not the representative for the community affairs team. When I left the meeting, I was told I'm not going to be in charge of the community affairs team. So I guess I should watch what I say. Our office is right around the corner, so if you go out West Drive, our office is right across from the fire station. Right now, there's only myself and one other deputy there. We're waiting for a decision to be made. We're going to get 2 more deputies that will be posted there. The CAT unit is in charge of the school deputies and the community liaisons. We have a community liaison at Lovita McKeithen Park, which is down by McDonald's. That's where early voting was. We do have a very big COP program in the district, so if anybody's interested in that, please let me know. It's a very active program. We utilize the COPs to go out and help us with major events, with traffic, or just walking around through the event. Okay. During the past month, there's been 4 reported burglaries. Okay, the first burglary occurred at 1003 Oak Ridge A, and it was a delayed burglary. The gentleman reported that somebody cut the lock to a storage unit and made a legal entry. The husband and his wife returned from Canada, so they had been gone since July of 2016. So forced entry into the storage unit. What was taken was a bicycle, some golf clubs, and a couple other small items. A pair of red clippers were left behind, and that was taken and processed by us. While they were there, while the deputy was there, another resident came from unit 1004 and said her storage unit had been broken into because she did not make a report because nothing was missing. That area, there is no security cameras, and the case is still open. Okay, the second one was reported on October 15th at 1016 Oak Ridge A, in reference to, again, a delayed burglary. Security pointed out that the check-in apartment where an unknown person made possible forced entry The window was smashed out and possibly ajar. After the deputy got a key to the apartment, which only had the bottom locked, secured, nobody was located in the apartment. TVs were taken out of the apartment. There was a witness on scene who said she observed a black female, taking a TV a few days prior between 11 and 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So 11 in the morning to 1 o'clock in the afternoon. However, they did not call the police to report this information to us, and they had no further information for that crime. There was another burglary that deputies responded to on October 23rd at 1002 Oak Ridge A in reference to another delayed burglary. This is another residence where the people were out of the area and I guess returned. The property was last checked a week prior on October 19th. Suspects pried the rear window, made entry to the enclosed patio. They broke the window leading to the master bedroom, and again they took several TVs, some bicycles, and some golf clubs. We responded to the scene, and we had one of our crime scene technicians come out and do fingerprints for that. And the last one, again, unfortunately, all these have been at Oak Ridge, is 1001, a delayed burglary. The gentleman left his residence in May, and he returned back on October 26th. And three TVs, some jewelry, and 2 bicycles were kept in the unit's locker area were taken. Century Village apparently notified him on October 5th that someone had broken into the storage locker and taken his stuff, and he wasn't able to provide any information until he returned down here. The gentleman when I first walked in, a gentleman had stopped me and asked me about, well, actually 2 gentlemen did. Well, I'll go over both cases. The first one, apparently there was a battery case where a subject was arrested at 113 Hardwood J. So if anybody had concerns with that, the suspect was arrested. I don't have the details of the case because I wasn't pulled with this information, but there was an arrest made. The second thing that another gentleman brought to my attention was elderly exploitation, where people are being scammed by their caregivers. The caregivers are saying that they need to borrow some money, and the elderly residents, who sometimes might feel bad for them, is giving them a lot of money. And I think the one is up to about $5,000 right now. So please advise your relatives and those who were the caregivers. Number one, the caregivers, this is not acceptable, and we will prosecute them. And number 2, advise your relatives not to give them any money. And also, you should be checking their bank account statements regularly. All right, the last thing is, when I was here 2 months ago, they asked about how do we get information right away about what's going on in the community with the police. We do not put all that information out on an email. We just put the major events, and you can access that by going to sheriff.org, and there will be a link to that program. Does anybody have any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Your name?
Gualione. Gualione. First name is Tony.
Okay, any other questions?
Yes,
Please
ma'am.
use the microphone.
I'm just wondering if you happen to know if Open A is mostly rentable or ownable, if that information is available.
That information I do not know.
All right, thank you.
And my question is, as Century Village becomes more compliant with its sign, I'm sorry, as we here at Century Village, we've been putting in signage to comply with Florida, state, federal laws. Are you aware of any patrolling or anything extra you might be doing at this time within Century Village?
Our deputies do normally patrol in here. They do come through, not just for calls. However, we have a zone car. We break them down into zones. So the area for Century Village, our zone goes from Hillsborough Boulevard to 10th Street, Military to Power Line. So that does include the residential area just west of Century Village.
Yeah, my question is more within Century Village. You know, we have speeding signs up and we have stop signs. And are you monitoring any of that at this time or not quite yet?
I don't believe we're monitoring the speed in here. I know that we do come in here and patrol through here, but I don't know about the speed. As far as like motorcycle cops coming in here and monitoring the speed, I don't think they're doing that at this point.
Now, I think the two things are, one is that the signs have to meet the Department of Transportation standards, and then also they have to be formally asked by master management to come in. And until those two things are both in place, they cannot give out tickets in the village.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Most of these burglaries on the ground floor.
It was unit, for Oak Ridge, it was 1, 2, 3, and 16.
They're all on the ground.
The first floor, I guess, unit 1 is the first floor?
Yes.
Okay, yes, sir.
Okay, now most of these entrances, are they gained from the outside or from the back doors?
The rear.
Rear.
Yes, sir.
Most of these, now a lot of people have doors on their patios. Are they mostly the ones with the doors or without the doors? Do you know?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I know Oak Ridge, a unit 10002 had a rear enclosure patio. So that makes it sound like it was a rear door that was closed.
Rear door. Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, no further questions. We do want to thank Deputy for attending, and you're most welcome.
Thank you.
First Vice President Sandra SCHMEER, Treasurer's Report.
Could everybody please close their cell phones first? For the month of October, the expenses were $999, and that was the total loss for the month. For the year-to-date totals, we had $57,550.36 income, $31,038.45 expenses, leaving a year-to-date net income of $27,510.91. Our year-to-date expenses include insurance, internet and phone service, ink and supplies, legal fees, fees for videotaping, minutes prepared by a scribe, and robot calls. Thank you.
Any questions? If not, we will go into the President's report. As I previously stated, the cooking office staff is on demand. We had a first vice president who had to resign because of illness. We had our treasurer had to resign because he broke his shoulder. Okay, so Our next election, regular election, is January of 2018, okay? That's about 14 months from now. Rather than wait that time, being undermanned, I'm asking for a special election, which is on your order of business sheets, be held this January along with the regular election for Master Management and the Recreation Committee. And the people who are elected will serve 1 year until the next regular election. Before we can discuss it, may we have someone make this a motion? Anyone? Rhonda Patel makes the motion. Any seconded? Okay, Sylvia Smaldone makes a second. Okay, any discussion on this motion? Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion is carried unanimously. Thank you. The next order of business is we have COOCVE bylaws, and the COOCVE bylaws do provide for a vacancy on the Recreation Committee where the Board of Directors removes somebody, they can elect somebody the next day or at the very next meeting. The COOCVE president, of course, appoints people to all committees, except the Recreation Committee is not in that vein. The Recreation Committee is elected by the COOCVE Board of Directors. Okay, so right now there's a gap in the reasoning as to what happens if we have a resignation, which we had in the Recreation Committee, and there's no provision for it in the COOCVE bylaws. So the bylaw amendment reads, except as provided in 11.9D, which is the where it says the COOCVE Board of Directors replaces and removes somebody, which allows the board to replace the Recreation Committee. We're saying is that this should be given over to the Recreation Committee to allow them, as in most boards, to fill any vacancies. Okay, and that's what the proposal is. Again, can I have a motion? Someone make a motion to have this voted on. Okay, I hear someone back. State your name. Sandy PARNES. Okay, anyone seconded? Okay, I see over there some hands. Okay. Any discussion on this motion? Yes.
I just have a question on the process, Charlie. It says the Recreation Committee may elect. Is there a certain number?
Okay, they have 7 members.
Majority?
Yes.
It's not in here. Majority may elect, or?
The majority of, yes, it would be the majority of the election
If it
committee.
doesn't say that.
Okay,
That's fine.
I would accept that as a addition to it, that the majority, so the amendment is, the motion is amended to include the majority of the election committee will have a say in it.
That's it.
Very good, thank you.
I mean, that's provided okay with red line.
Well, it's up to us to make the decision.
Correct, you're right, I'm sorry.
Okay, any other additions, corrections, comments? Yes, Rita McCarthy.
What your amendment was, I believe you said the election committee, I think you meant to say recreation.
I'm sorry, the Recreation Committee, correct, absolutely. I do mean the Recreation Committee. Give them the power to elect replacement. Okay, may we call the question? This will require a 2/3 vote, so let me put it this way. Any opposed to this motion? Seeing none, hearing none, I assume that by unanimous, everyone has approved this motion and the motion is approved. Anyone in favor say aye? Aye. Any opposed? None? Thank you. The motion is carried. Okay, at this point, I'd like Rita, Recreation Committee, and we'll follow up with Chief from Master Management.
morning. I just have a couple announcements that I want to go over to make sure everyone is aware that our fitness center now opens at 6 a.m. for the early birds. That gives us another hour of fitness center time and to accommodate the crowd. We also are offering a water aerobics class at 5:30 p.m. for those that don't want to get up early or can't get up early, whatever. 5:30. Check in the staff office. We have some other evening classes. We had a request and now we're trying them. This is the week to pick up and register for the next session. So see what new classes might be being offered, something. If you ever have an interest in a certain class being offered, take that interest and let them know in the staff office. We're always welcome for new ideas. Our flea market this year will return, and it will be at February 12th, which is a Sunday. And we will announce in December when you can start getting tables. $10. Everyone must purchase a table. Tables for the New Year's dance. When you have your tickets in hand and those all your group that you want to sit with, if you want to sit with anybody, on November 28th, we'll start sign-ups for the New Year's Eve dance. The restaurant is going strong. It's now open until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Credit cards are accepted. Anything over $10, tips cannot be put on the credit card. That's it. Anybody have any questions on anything I asked? Yes, sir. On anything I asked.
Thank you. It's not really a question. I just asked the owner this morning. They'll also take debit cards.
Oh, yeah. Credit and debit cards, I'm sorry. And I hope you like our new party room that we redid over the summer. Rhonda, on the new classes that you're having in the gym, there's the spin class, but it's early in the morning when the buses don't run, and then at dinner time. I'm hoping there'll be more spin classes. So if we get the instructor, we've got the bikes now. But thank you for having it. I'm just hoping there's more. So. Okay.
Is there any chance that the recreation or the fitness center would be open on the weekends a little earlier than 8 o'clock?
No.
No.
It's a matter of manpower.
The fitness center I saw was open at 6 a.m.
Yes.
But the pool still says 8 a.m., the indoor pool. Is that also 6 a.m. then? Because I use that pool quite a bit. I wouldn't mind if you using it.
I believe it is 8 a.m. Check in the staff office.
So it says 8 a.m. on there.
And I believe it is 8 a.m.
But if they're opening the
That's
gym.
because we have someone on staff that comes in at 6 a.m. to man the
But
fitness
there's nobody
center.
manning the pool anyways.
We'll check in the staff office.
Okay.
Okay? Sorry I can't help you, George. Anybody else?
Can you get the table?
November 28th, New Year's? Is that what you're asking, Florence?
No, for the flea market. When
We'll announce it sometime in December. We'll start having sign-up.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Have a good month.
Thank you, Rita.
Oh, one more thing. Anybody interested in writing for recreation or COOCVE, pick up your application.
Okay, before Dean gets here, again, there are 3 positions open on master management. They're for 3-year terms. For the recreation committee, there are 4 positions open, 3 for 2-year terms. The 4th highest voter will get a 1-year term. And of course, there are 5 COOCVE officers. 2nd and 3rd vice president, 2nd and 3rd sergeant at arms, and a treasurer. Anyone interested? I believe it's December 6th is the deadline. Get them in, and remember, completed applications must go to the CVE Master Management Office. It's the only place that you can turn your applications in. Thank you. Gene, go ahead.
Good morning. I see the season has begun, and we can tell because there are actually people here. Anyway, good to see everyone who's come back and all those who are permanent residents. It's was a great summer, but it's always nice to have everyone come back. You know, I was just thinking about something. The deputy was talking about, you know, some break-ins, and some of those were in storage rooms. But you know, for a community that has 15,000 people in its season and 8,508 units, we have very little crime here, and we should be proud of it. The sheriff used to tell us, by the way, that we were the safest place in Broward County. So, anyway, I have 5 things I want to share with you. Just so that you know, last week was the meeting of the Recreation Advisory Committee, RITA's group, also the Master Management Board of Directors meeting last week. And if you have interest in issues that pertain to either group, I encourage you to come to those meetings. There's at least 1 meeting per month of both groups on different days. They're published. Master Management had 2 public meetings this last month. And so I want to talk about 5 additional things, and we can entertain questions on those items when I finish them. Item number 1, at the very last meeting, a special meeting of the board, we have approved the interagency agreement, and let me tell you what that is if you were not around. For the first time ever, our community is working together, by the way, really well, and the Recreation Advisory Committee, headed by RITA, and the Master Management Board, headed by me, came to a full agreement, a very lengthy agreement. Master Management last year, or this year, spent a good deal of funds to rehab, refurnish, rehabilitate, and fix the La Club Auditorium, the 3 meeting rooms in the activity center, the 4 tennis courts, and the pool, and we just also put in handicap accessible bathrooms. As of November 1st, the Recreation Advisory Committee will be managing those recreational facilities. The ownership is still with Master Management, but we're not in the recreation business. It's going to where it should be, the folks that run all of our other recreational facilities, and we're really excited about that, and we were able to come to a wonderful agreement regarding that. It also has another nice benefit. So if you need to book anything in any of those places, you go to the clubhouse and you do it there. One of the very nice side aspects of the agreement is because recreation is able to purchase a recreational insurance for liability, which Master Management could not do, there won't be any requirement that any group who meets there has to buy liability insurance. And those of you who recall last year, that was a requirement. We had to do that legally, but that won't exist in the future, and we're really pleased with that. So it saves everybody a lot of money and puts everything in order. Any questions about the interagency agreement? No? Okay, I'm going to go to the second item. We now have a bus to the beach on Sunday. And we got a lot of requests for that. You know, the Broward bus only works Monday through Saturday, the one that goes all the way to the beach. And we got a number of requests, and so we have instituted a Sunday bus to the beach. Look carefully at the times. I think it's every hour from, I can't recall in my head. I think it ends at 5 o'clock. 10:30 till 5. 10:30 till 5. And I think it's every hour. Be careful if you go to the beach and you wait to the last minute to come back, and the bus leaves at 5, and there's no room for you on that bus, you have a problem. And we're not going to solve it for you. So please keep that in mind. Go early, come back when you want. Make sure that you're going to be able to get back. Otherwise, you're going to have to get a cab or something. Any question on that issue, on the bus to the beach? None? Third item. I was so pleased that we had a bus from the clubhouse to the La Club for the voting last week. How many of you used the bus? Anyone in here use the bus? Okay, were there other people?
Some.
Good. Okay, well, we ran a bus all day long for the voting to make it possible for folks who who don't have a car, who thought it'd be too crowded over there, to come here, hop on the bus, and I think it was every 30 minutes, and went over to the club to vote. And of course, we always want people to vote. That's your franchise. You should never not do that. Any questions regarding that? Fourth item, we have a big road safety program going on. You're beginning to see signage changing. You're beginning to see markings and striping. It's not over. There's a lot more to do, but you'll notice they're clear. They shine at night. You're able to see them when your car lights are on. You can see the lines down the middle of the road. This is a project that will be going on for several months. We have a wonderful gentleman in the village who's a volunteer. He was the head of traffic safety for the state of West Virginia. He's a resident here in our village, and he's giving his time to us to bring us up to the code that the state requires. Now, there's a question earlier regarding, that was asked of the deputy. Once all of the signage and all the markings are properly done, then our board will have to vote to approach the city to get approval from the city, and then we go to the sheriff. Until that process is done, they do not ticket here on our property. We want them to be able to ticket because people speed and people get hurt. Now, I know a lot of people wish that we did it because they like to speed, they like to not follow rules, and they think stop signs are a suggestion, and they're not. We're going to be moving in that direction. So, right now, nothing other than the sheriff is always here for crime, and they do roam around, but they're here for crime. The project will be done probably within the next 4 or 5 months. There's a great deal to do. Every sign has to be measured to a certain height. You'll notice that on the stop signs and on the crosswalk signs, there's also a strip down the pole, which helps people see it. Where all the new street signs, most of those are up, not all. Most of them are up, which they actual street signs that say Denver or whatever, and have the letters. They shine at night because they light up when your lights are on. You'll notice that we're slowly eliminating the old green signs that were in the middle. 2 reasons. One, they're falling apart. They're rotten. I guess nothing lasts forever. And 2, the place does look a bit neater, less encumbered with millions of unnecessary signs. But lots and lots of new crosswalk signs. The roads will all be striped, and it's really going to be quite a place, I think, when you see it. You also notice, I'm sure, as a result of this, by the way, as a result of the effort of the Executive Director of Master Management, Kelly Hampton, they've been looking at every pothole, every bump in the sidewalk, filing them down. We had a very interesting effect. Last year, at this time, we had over 50 claims against Master Management. People love to complain, and they fall and they think it's somebody else's fault, so they bring claims. That shot our insurance up tremendously. In this last year, from January to now, we've had 1 claim, which means we're going to have a minimum of a $50-some-thousand reduction on our insurance. So that's a big change. Last item I want to talk about. Oh, anyone want to talk about the signage or the? Yes, yes. Come on. We're talking now about the signage and the road safety project. Yes, Ron.
Yes, I would like to make a suggestion for a signage. If there could be a beware of the animals that are walking around so that people will look and not hit them, it would be nice to get a sign for the animals to protect the nature that we have here.
Of course, you recognize part of the problem is that they walk all over the place, and we have to have literally hundreds of signs. By the way, we do have over 1,500 signs in the village. Just so you know, it's not a small project. But thank you for the suggestion. I'll certainly mention it to the office. Yes?
The roads are beautiful. There's only one thing that I fought for 5 years ago is the flashing light at Keswick and Durham, where the road divides. Now, I was asked the other day by somebody, some car was coming right at him when he got there. He lives in Keswick. And are they planning to do something on that? put a flashing light back or something at the middle. That's very important.
Yeah, and I understand what you're saying. I understand that our folks that are looking at that in compliance, remember, we're doing everything now in compliance with state code. So we're not doing stuff that we aren't allowed to do or shouldn't be doing, and we're doing stuff that we're supposed to do, which we didn't always do. So I certainly, let me make a suggestion to you. Could you please either send a note or go over to the office and file a customer relations notice, and they'll certainly follow it up. I don't want to forget it. If you do it, it won't.
Yeah.
They'll get back to you.
I will, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, sir.
Gene, I noticed the signs are placed on top of the pole without any screws, without anything to secure them. Is there any danger that they might fly over?
I'm sorry, say that again, the signs are what?
The actual sign is on top of the pole.
Oh, the street signs?
Yeah.
Oh, no, they're very secure. They're in the proper holder for.
Are they secure enough?
Oh, absolutely. Listen, we would never take that chance. Imagine they would hit you in the head.
Exactly. I noticed none of them have screws that.
No, they're designed that way. They're absolutely designed that way. Yes, ma'am.
Bernice Blissmas, Ellesmere B. I want to compliment you on the lighting on Century Boulevard. It's wonderful. However, when I turn off of Century Boulevard, for example, going into Newport or Ellesmere, the road becomes so dark that you can barely see where you're going. And what I would like to suggest to you is either put some more lighting in there or cut some of the trees which are hiding the lamps, and the lighting is not coming through, and I think it's very, very dangerous.
Well, that's a really good question, and let me address that. It's actually fairly complicated. Where you see all of the main lighting that we did with FP&L, Florida Light and Power, that is the Boulevard and East and West Drive are property owned by Master Management. All the other roads are the property of associations in various sections. That means those lights in those areas are the property of associations, and the trees are the property of associations. We are looking at that issue, but you have to understand it's not our property. And so it poses some interesting issues and problems, and we're actually studying that right now, because we agree with you. We would love to see better lighting. I don't know how we're going to do that. We were able to do it legally and appropriately on the Boulevard and East and West Drive, but I know the problem does exist, and we'll certainly be looking at that and at some point getting back to everyone on that. Sure. Yes, ma'am.
Issue was the same as Bernice.
Oh, okay.
About the lighting.
Well,
and it is terribly dark.
Yeah.
I have new people who just moved here, and they just brought it to my attention that
but now you
this
do
is
understand.
terrible. So we can vote on it as a building?
No. You're saying, could a building deal with its own lights?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And who would we address it to?
Look, my building just put in 4 new lights on the building to light up the entire parking lot. We have a light on each side of the building and in the back. But that was a building decision. And so, yeah, you can do all kinds of stuff on your own property. Remember, the vast majority of property is all owned by associations. There are only two pieces of property. There are only 2 pieces of property that are not. The property owned by Master Management and the property owned by Whole Rod Corporation, which is direct property. That's called a demise property. Okay? Thank you for your thought. Yes.
Weather, Harwood D. I wonder if something could be done by a different contractor than it was done last time. The road behind Harwood D is always laying full of water. Mainly right behind where I park my car. Now the problem gets worse because the puddle is getting bigger.
Whose road is that, do you know?
That's Master Manning, whoever owns the roads.
Well, no, that's probably not Master Management. That's the problem. It's probably your building's road. But I don't know that. So
because when we repaved the parking lot, we repaved everything. The guy did the road, and now it's told that belongs to somebody else.
Okay. Is the road you're talking about, is that on the boulevard?
No?
Is it on East or West Drive?
No.
Then it's not master management property. Now, if you go over to the office, they can determine whose piece of road that is. And then you can talk to that group. It might be another building. It might be your building and you don't realize it. Now, lots of folks, a lot of buildings don't know what they own.
Well,
Unfortunately, they
we
don't.
were overrode when they did that road. The guy tore it out and put it in 3 times, and he still did it wrong. I don't understand how a contractor can do that and stay in business. But we were told we couldn't make him do it again because it belongs to somebody else.
I don't want to pursue this any longer because I can't answer your question. So if you'll go over to the master management office and raise that question with the executive director, they can help you understand it or deal with it. But I can't do it here because I don't know.
I would definitely do that.
Okay, good. Thank you very much.
Resolved. We were overrode, told after he did it 3 times, he wasn't going to do it.
I'm sure that's very frustrating. I understand that. Yes, ma'am.
Gene, are we to assume that all roads that do not have a yellow line down the middle are not your
Don't make
property?
that assumption. Lines we put in roads, even roads that are not ours, for safety reasons. But we only can do things on property we own unless we have agreements, or I should say, if it's part of a project that we are looking at, in which we have a responsibility for. So don't make any assumptions that lines mean anything. What I'm telling you is the roads owned by master management are the Boulevard, East and West Drive. All the other roads are owned by associations. We've been doing work, but that doesn't mean that the problem the gentleman mentioned is an issue of ours. Lots of buildings do a lot of work on their own property.
No, we don't have any
So-
bus going through it.
So if you have a
Problem
question,
is,
if you have a question
all
regarding
I'm
homes-
asking you is we have no delineation between one side of the road to the other. We have none. So there's nothing going down the middle.
My suggestion to you is if you want to understand that, they have maps in the office. I don't have it here. Go to the office, they know exactly what's yours, what's ours, what's not ours.
But basically you own the roads that have the buses going on. Is that
No.
No?
No.
That's my question.
No, our buses go on all kinds of roads. You know, in Century Village, Boca Raton, the bus only goes on what would be our boulevard. They don't go into the areas at all. Our buses go in to make it convenient for our unit owners. So where our buses go is not a delineation of what is whose property. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Michael Reitelman for Ellesmere D.
Can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
A little bit louder.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
This is about lighting, but I'm going to start by talking about the letter that we received about paving, that work was being done, and that if the building wants to join that project, okay, can't we apply the same principle to lighting? Because if one building looks at it and another building looks something different, can't the same kind of approach be done? I only suggested as a way of accomplishing improved lighting.
Okay, listen, I don't make these decisions. We have a board of directors.
Well, I'm bringing it to your attention.
No, here's what I'm going to suggest to you. Come to the next master management meeting board, which is in December. I think it's the 13th. Express your concern. The whole board will hear
Well,
you.
everybody's expressing their concern.
This is not the board of master
No,
management.
but everyone here, you don't get me frustrated, because we come here, you're representing master management, we talk to you, think it over.
I come here as a courtesy to share some pieces of information, not to deal with the meeting of master management, which covers many, many issues. So don't expect that I'm going to make a list and run back and deal with them all. I can't. If anyone has serious issues with what master management is doing, I encourage you to come. This is a COOCVE meeting. It's not a rec meeting. It's not a master management meeting. Yes, sir.
Is there any movement on the court case with the guardhouses?
We're waiting for the courts. No. As far as I know, not as of this moment. I have one more item to tell you. At the COOCVE Master Management meeting last week, the board adopted a budget for the 2017 fiscal year, and we have reduce the coupon from $122 to $116, a $6 reduction in the fee. That is a $6 a month. That is an approximate $600,000 reduction in the budget of master management due to efficiencies. We have an incredible staff that looks at every possible efficiency and way to save. And in spite of the fact we've done all these projects this last year, so many projects, we're still able to reduce the budget. And by the way, you also need to know, the entire loan for the irrigation project has been put to rest. It is over. Now, during that very big project, we never once had a special assessment. And it is our intention not to ever do that ever. So, thank you for your support, and we'll see you at our next meeting.
I have just two comments for master management. First of all, in addition to all the safety features they're putting in as far as signs, roadways, one of the biggest problems, of course, is that we can help is pedestrians and bicyclists. There'll be an article in the Reporter that gives you safety tips on how to conduct yourself, especially at night. We see bicyclists and pedestrians, dark clothing. There's certain tips that can help you. The second thing I want to talk about is, Gene talked about turning over some of the things, master management working with the Recreation Committee. I want to publicly thank both the Board of Directors of Master Management and the Recreation Committee and their leadership for working together to make this a better community. I think we all have to okay, since we have no old business, and is there any new business?
Yeah. Here comes trouble. First, I would like to thank Dan from the Recreation Executive Director and the whole Recreation Committee for doing a beautiful job on the party room. It's too bad that Nancy Giordano did not live long enough to see this room, but her spirit is in this building. I therefore make a motion to name this room the Nancy Giordano Social Hall.
Okay, except I believe that that's something that should be brought up before the Recreation Committee.
I asked Dan, he said to bring it up at the COOCVE meeting.
I don't duck the issues, but I really think it's the province of the Recreation Committee, which monitors bay management and which is the clubhouse, etc. This is the clubhouse part of it. And I would suggest that you bring it to, I certainly would support that measure, but I believe its proper place is the Recreation Committee.
Okay.
Okay, any other new business? Hearing none, we'll then go to open mic. Anyone who has anything to say? Go ahead.
Like Saul Siegel, Richmond A. What is our exposure, remaining exposure legally for the legal expenses?
For the what?
Legal expenses that are still, are there any remaining legal expenses that we have exposure to?
From COOCVE's end?
COOCVE's end.
There's no way to tell. We're involved, for example, in a minor lawsuit. Well, it was mentioned that we have to get our lawyers in, we have to bring the insurance company in on the thing, and this is just to say, hey, it ain't us, and we shouldn't be involved in a lawsuit, but that takes lawyers to write papers. I had to give a deposition, et cetera, and that's still not been resolved. We can be, we have provisions in it on our budget for legal fees, and we have to take it as it comes along. There's no way to predict it.
Who is that legal fee for? For what reason?
I'm not going to go into the details, except one case involved someone wanted to join a club in the village, which COOCVE has no relation to, because there's over 150 organizations, and they were denied membership, and they're suing for discrimination, that club and COOCVE. Okay? But it takes us to get a lawyer to go through the whole process. That's one of the things that we've got. Other than that, we have no lawsuits against us on any other thing that I know of. But again, today is Tuesday. Tomorrow we may have something else.
Okay, thank you.
Bernie?
Bernie PARNES, Harwood. I want to talk about the golf course. And I want everybody to be aware of what's going on in Broward and Palm Beach County. Golf courses are closing. Cities and counties are, without residents' permission, and after lawsuits, say, tough, we need the money. Right here on Military Trail, Crystal Lake, we'll have several hundred houses. Commission voted either 4-1 or unanimously to approve the building of houses. It's going to happen in Century Village eventually. And the reason is money. Assuming the golf course right now pays $100,000 a year in taxes, imagine 400 luxury homes on 76 acres at approximately $5,000 in taxes each. Let's make it 400 to make it an even number. That's $2 million in taxes. If you sat on the city and the county, would you rather have $100,000 in taxes or $2 million? Hillcrest Golf Course, 475 houses. Boca Municipal Golf Course, getting 500 houses. Crystal Lake, several hundred. Villa Del Rey, closed. Marina Lakes, closed. Industrial Park going up on the golf course right here off Hillsborough Boulevard. The trend is that if we don't get smart and do something to preserve at least part of our golf course, the right will be taken away, and we will have what the city wants given to a builder, with us having no voice in what happens. So I've asked Master Management, and they're in agreement, to try to work something out where we get to our advantage most of the golf course so we can control it, giving up a small part so that we can maintain at least 50 acres of that golf course as ours. They're working on it, so when you hear about it, don't say, oh no, we're going to fight, because you're going to lose. Everybody else has lost. There are at least 10 golf courses in our area that have closed, now have housing on them, where the residents who surround that golf course have had no say at all. By the way, Tam O'Shanter off Military Boulevard, half of it will be a children's ball fields owned by the city, the other half a cemetery. That's also a possibility for our village. This could happen to us. So that when they talk about we're trying to make a deal to save most of the golf course for our control, don't turn a deaf ear. It may not be perfect, but it's certainly better than having 500 houses built on our golf course. Thank you.
Lawrence Strickhoff, Granite City. The state of Florida has an unclaimed funds website. And a quick study, they came up with 1 account for COOCVE and 30 accounts for Master Management. I would like to turn them over to Gene and to you to investigate further if there is any unclaimed money due to Master Management and to COOCVE.
Thank you, Warren. Hi, Charlie, Michael Roper.
I just wanted to respond a little bit to what was just said about the golf courses. And Master looked into this very extensively. This was before I was on the board. Is this better? This was before I was on the board, but it was done very openly. And what was necessary in order for Master to be involved in any of this, we wanted to make sure that the grounds were taken care of because of the toxic material that was in the ground and the responsibility that we would assume by taking any of that land over and the possibility or even probability that we would get sued, because there seems to be some opportunities for suing, that it had to go a certain way in order for it to happen. It had to already proceed as part of the deal that it would come to a place where all that toxicity was necessarily already taken care of before we would assume responsibility. Now, this is the second time that I've heard this in a large meeting, that we have to run and take care of this land. We can't do that. We cannot run to take care of the land. It was looked at before I was on the board, and it's the same situation now. Nothing has changed. Nobody has taken the responsibility of cleaning up that area there, and we can't take responsibility for it, for the community or for anything else. If somebody wants to come in and do it, and we have no control over the area, that's what it is, but we cannot accept responsibility on land that has toxicity and then be liable for huge amounts of claims that would come against us. And even if all the claim was that we would have to clean it up, the amount of money is staggering. It's in the many, many millions. It's like, it could be $10 million. We cannot assume that liability for the community here. So what needs to happen at this point is we need to monitor what's happening, and we need to allow people to meet on that land and talk to all the various communities that are associated with the land. We're partially, Master only has a small area that connects to that land. We were offered parts of the land as part of the situations that occurred, and we can't go forward with it. That's the end. If this is brought up at every meeting, it'll be brought up at every meeting. If I need to stand up after it's brought up at every meeting, Bernie, I will do that. We can't take these situations and assume that it's going to work out fine. It's not. Okay? We've already done the studies. We know how much toxicity is there, and we know approximately how much it would cost to deal with it within a range. If we move forward, it'll cost more to even get more specific. But unless that's done, unless we move forward in a very controlled way, we're going to end up with a toxic site that we can't use.
Rhonda?
Yes, I just wanted to say that we are a gated community, which is different than some other places that have these golf courses. And we have some legal things on our side too. Thank you.
Al?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure the community knows of all the exciting things right outside our gates that is happening. First, I just like to remind you, next to J&J, the farm stand, is Constitution Park. And they've got a rainforest in there, and it's a beautiful walking trail. So if you're walking around Century Village, another day choose to take a walk to Constitution Park. The next thing is Sullivan Park, which is under construction right now, but will be completed somewhere by the first of the year. Right, that's down Hillsborough as you go over the intercoastal. And they're building a splash park there for your grandchildren and whomever to enjoy that little park area there. And then from there, after the first of the year, you'll be able to catch a boat to Deerfield Island Park, a beautiful island that you can only get to by the pontoon boat that comes in and ferries people back and forth. Or right now, on Saturdays and Sundays, at 10, 12, and 2, you can go aboard the pontoon boat, which begins in Pioneer Park. Go to Pioneer Park, pick up the boat. It's a 20-minute free ride down to Deerfield Island Park. You stay on the island for an hour and 20 minutes, and then you take that same pontoon boat back for 20 minutes. So it's once again, and it's open to adults and children, everybody free. Make sure you do that. They're wonderful things. And the final thought is, if you want to see all the fish in the ocean, at the end of the pier, there's a camera which is underwater, and you just enter view into the blue, and you'll see all of the fish that come up to the pier. It's a beautiful thing. And if you want to know what the height of the waves are on the beach, or is there anybody on the beach today, or is it full, they also pan from that area. You can pick up a view of the beach. So just some helpful things for taking advantage of this beautiful place where we live, what's just outside the gate. Thank you.
Marie Doherty.
Maureen Doherty, Farnham Home. I just want to bring back the memory of Nancy Giordano. I've known her for 10 years when I was on the board. Between her and Rita and the questions I always had to ask, that see me, oh, here comes trouble. But any question I ever had, they always resolved it for me. And I think it's wonderful that we keep Nancy in our memory. Just a suggestion. I think it would be wonderful if they hung a picture of Nancy Giordano in a plaque underneath in memory of the great work she has done here in Century Village. Thank you.
Yeah, we did have a memorial service for Nancy shortly after her passing. We will be holding another one so that the snow workers that miss her can acknowledge her passing. When we will reveal a plaque and stuff, probably in December or January of this year.
Thank you. Just one comment on personal comment. We do know that golf courses all over the place are being bought up, converted into housing. Right now, with the toxic condition of the golf course now, it's probably very prohibitive, not just the cost of mitigating that thing, but the legal fees and the legal complexities that are involved in it. However, we do know that at some point, with rising prices of housing, etc., at some point in the future, we may be faced with someone saying is, we're going to take the risk. And the only measure of defense we have is that Master Management will continue to do due diligence in watching the problem and making the right decisions for this community without costing us an arm and a leg, just to protect the community. Anyway, Commissioner, you have something to say? Commissioner Rosenberg.
There is a program available to us, and I'm hoping we get to a cookie reporter about crime mapping. Crime mapping is an exciting law enforcement tool that puts crime statistics and trends at the hands of the Broward County resident who wants to be better informed of crime in their neighborhood. Crime mapping is a web-based interactive service that provides reliable and timely crime information. The site is analytical information in the hands of users with an easy-to-use interface, icons depicting the various types of crimes and search capabilities within the geographical areas serviced by BSO. The user can also search the crimes within a given date range going back 6 months from the date of the search. Want to be alerted when a crime happens near your home, work, or school? Crime mapping allows users to sign up for automatic crime alerts within their areas of interest. The site can also make it easier to report information on specific crimes by providing a link to the Broward Crime Stoppers website. Civic engagement in neighborhood policing is best. And crimemapping.com is the website. I'll give this to you, Charlie. There are cards that will be coming to the village so that people can pick them up probably in the staff office. And more importantly, when it comes to the golf course, we're the only golf course I know that's within the limits of a village enclosed. Before this can happen, anything can happen, and I've talked about this many times, that this is open space. which also has controls that says that it has to go before the commission to have a land use change made, no matter what the project is. As far as I know, I have not read that the county has changed that law. And so before it happens here, we have a voice to say, and the commission has a voice to say whether or not that happens. And so there are a lot of issues out there and hurdles to be crossed before that would happen. I don't want to scare anybody that this is going to happen tomorrow. It's not. Down in the Crystal Lake area, the commission has approved that site plan. That site was sold by the golf course to 32 different individuals, and they want to sell it. And it's their property. And they came with a plan to do that, and the residents did have some input into it. And so it isn't totally that they weren't aware of it. We had meetings down there with them at the time. And so that's their decision. Our decision was based on what we want. And should I be your commissioner, I assure you that I will listen to you, because I will do nothing without knowing what you want as your commissioner. Thank you.
I have one more important announcement, and in the current Observer and the Telegram magazines, you may have read that the visitor center down by the pier is getting ready to open, and they need volunteers. You know, these are tourist ambassadors, and they're willing to train you if you've got some spare time. They're willing to train you to become a tourist ambassador. I know I'll be volunteering for that. So either get in touch with me or get in touch with the city of Deerfield. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. One last word. Next meeting, which will be the third Tuesday of December, the election committee will announce the candidates for master management, the recreation committee, and any COOCVE officers that we put their names in for. Again, if you're interested, now's the time to get your applications, which can be at the COOCVE office, staff office, master management office, and all completed applications have been returned to the CBE Master Management Office. Again, thank you for coming, and see you next month. Motion to adjourn. Carried. Thank you.
All right, Freddie, give us a hello.
Hello.
Oh, there we go. And
Horrible shirt on.
that's right.
And you really are sweet and horrible, aren't you?
Breathless.